looks like we are live. I hope that's true. How's everybody doing? YouTube is telling me I have an excellent connection, so let's keep rolling with that. SLI is dead. Long live SLI. I have a bunch of dual GPU video cards that I wanna use and just figure out, like, are they worth anything? And to do that, the first thing I need is a test bed that can use the GPUs. So I sent 2 pairs of these dual GPU cards to a YouTuber last year and said, hey, you like to do wild and crazy stuff, have at it. Here's 2 ridiculously strong sets of dual GPU cards. Why don't you see what you can do with them? And he tried to do a Crossfire month, an SLI month, about a year ago, almost to the day, because I told him he should have called it Quadtoberfest, and I'm convinced that's the reason why he failed. So the YouTuber's name's Timmy Joe. I love his content. He's funny. He's Canadian. So I was just like, that sucks. I made it into like 2 more videos where he mentioned the project of trying to get these cards to Crossfire, and it just didn't work out. Like he could never get them to work. He spent weeks trying to get these cards to work in Quadfire or Quad Crossfire. He had some. I didn't send him any of my NVIDIA cards. I didn't have very many at the time. He spent weeks trying to get these NVIDIA these AMD cards to run dual 2 GPUs, 2+2 in Quad Crossfire. Couldn't get it done. Made it into his most hated projects video, most failed video, or whatever. So so that's the background that this project is being seeded from. Now I don't really know, and I don't know if he said very much in the in his video content what platforms he was using to try to get Quad Crossfire to work. But in the comments of one of his videos, there was a user who claimed that their Threadripper 1st gen platform ran Quad Crossfire with 0 issues, like it was made to do it. And that kind of makes sense because of all the PCIe lanes, like I mentioned in my last video, right? So what we're going to do today is we're just going to do some prep. I've got my Threadripper 1920X here. I've got I meant to grab this before I started the stream. I've got an ASRock Fatality, except they spelled Fatality with a numeral 1. That means it's really way better, right? It's a ASRock Fatality X399 Gaming Professional, X399 Professional Series Gaming. That is like all of the oxymorons in a box, basically. Gaming and professional and ones everywhere. They spelled professional with a 1, which I'm thinking is like the absolute antithesis of how a professional would spell professional. There's no 1. It is what it is. It's what I've got. So this, why? Why do you have this crap mic? This was supposed to be my video editing rig that I've never gotten around to building. Instead of putting it to a worthwhile use, I'm gonna put it to this use, which is as yet to be determined on whether that's a worthwhile use. So yeah, I got my X399 ATX motherboard here. This is brand new in the packaging. And I got my Ryzen 1920X, Ryzen Threadripper 1920X here. I got supremely good deals on these because, you know, they were going to be this was going to be mine. I was not buying these to sell or to flip. So if it's going to be mine, it's got to be cheap. So if I'm not flipping it for money, I don't spend a lot of money on my own stuff, right? So I got really good deals on these. I bought this when Amazon was selling them for this still has the plastic on it. Ooh, does the mic pick that up? Nice. I got this last year when Amazon was just blowing them out. I think I paid $179. I think this originally retailed for over $500. So yeah, or around $400 maybe. So yeah, oof, nice peel. Anyway, and then I picked this up just the other day. Again, Amazon had these on sale for a very limited time. I think they're regularly about $100. I got it for considerably less than that. And I would like to just talk about this cooler, right? I have a water block for the X399 platform, the STR4 socket, but I'm not going to use that setup. We're not going to do any of I'm just going to get this system up and running with an air-cooled, non-SLI GPU just to validate the overclock for my Threadripper CPU with this air cooler. Let's see, we're in a room. My basement room down here is 20.5 degrees Celsius. So hopefully we can keep the Delta T, 40 degrees. So an underload temperature of about 60 degrees Celsius is what I'm hoping to maintain, just for the life of the processor. Yeah. So let's open this bad boy up. These are all new unboxed parts. We're not doing unboxing. This is not an unboxing channel. So I didn't unbox the Be Quiet Dark Rock Pro. I didn't unbox the X399. I mean, I did, but I didn't do it on camera. This is not one of those kind of streams. This is not a mukbang. I'm not eating on camera. Never unboxed a Threadripper before. It's kind of weird compared to most other CPUs. Oh man, this thing is like, you just get the feeling that it's like an industrial piece of equipment compared to most pieces of PC hardware. You got like a torque wrench for the latch mechanism on the motherboard. I think this is like a CPU water block collar, which we won't need, I don't think. I don't think we're going to need this. We may need this. This may just be like the regular, this may be just a regular mounting mechanism for any kind of cooler, possibly. So yeah, I've never ever have I ever unlock the power. Cheesy. All right. The arrows say for me to twist this way. Can I do it? Nope. Sure can't. Weak sauce. Well, that's interesting. Is there some secret method that I don't understand or comprehend on how to unlock the power? Maybe it's like Thor's hammer and I'm not worthy. I have been digging ditches all day, so that's not helping my grip strength right now. You know, of all the things that was going to happen on this live stream, not being able to get to the CPU in the packaging was least anticipated by me of any of all the possibilities that could happen. So I'm trying to see like what the mechanism looks like here. It looks like it's like spring loaded. I cannot believe this. This is ridiculous. Do I need to Google how to open a Threadripper part? I got stickers. I got installation instructions. That's assuming they assume that I can get it out of the packaging. But yeah, they don't tell you how to get it out of the packaging. It's just like stuck in there. I got like a rogue case that won't open. I can see that bad boy back there. Sure can. There it is. You know, this is pretty embarrassing. I guess this is why we don't do unboxings. Why I don't do unboxings. Because AMD tries to get, fancy with their packaging. And then I'm left here looking like a total schmuckadelic over here. Who can't get their fancy ass packaging open. Let's see if I can do this with something that won't stab the ever-living bejesus out of me. There we go. When all else fails, the Leatherman usually gets it done. What a dumb thing that is. Alright, well, figure that out. Or overpowered that dumb thing. So stupid. Alright, we're in. We are in. Okay. So, move that retaining clip there. That looks like that comes out of there. And then this lid comes off of here. Like, I'm guessing it comes off of there. What the hell? Okay, just get off of there. Alright. Jesus. They wanted to make sure it was in there. Okay, so this is what all the fuss was about. Right there. That is a Ryzen Threadripper. And you know, if you're a tech person, you've probably seen one of these on YouTube or on the interwebs. Alright. So that's the processor. Got the X399 ASRock Fatality with a 1. Oh, there's so much good peel. Listen to that. That is satisfying. Yeah, it will hold up to, let's see, there's 8 slots, 8x64. I think it'll do 16 megs per. So I think it'll do 128 gigabytes of RAM. I think my kit is 64 gigabytes. 64 gig of RAM. Alright, so installation. Why is this telling me like about, okay, Okay, here we go. TR4. Loosen 3, 2, 1 in order. All right, so here's number 3. We're going to loosen that. Okay, I think that's loosened. 2. That one's up. All right, and 1 in that order. All right, and the socket retainer lid comes up. There's the socket protector. Okay, so there's like this thing here. Lift up socket lid and carrier frame holder, then remove socket protector. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming, as such viewers are experiencing. Alright, looks like you guys are not having the best streaming experience. Sorry. Okay. That guy came out of there. Slide out the external cap before sliding in the carrier frame with CPU. Alright, carrier frame with CPU. You gotta be careful with this bad boy because he can pop out of there. Okay. Clicks into place. Carefully lower CPU frame holder onto socket until clicked down. Okay, it's clicked down. Lower socket lid. Tighten in 1, 2, 3 order. Until wrench clicks. All right, 1. 2. 3. All right, so that's in. And that's everything there. All right, so our CPU's in. Before I put the Dark Rock Pro 4 from Be Quiet in, we're going to put our RAM kit in. My RAM kit. It's not ours. Not a socialist country. Not Comrade RAM. Alright, so what do we got here? We got some goodies from G-Skill. So this is G-Skill Trident Z. These are 3200 CL16. It's a 64 gig kit. It's 8x8. So 8 DIMMs, 8 gigabyte of RAM a piece. So interesting about this RAM. This says on the packaging that this is optimized for Intel X299 platform. Okay, it was cheaper than all the other Trident Z RAM kits available at the time, and there's really nothing about it that means it won't work with an AMD platform. Nothing. Absolutely nothing says that this will not run on a Threadripper. Get it. Okay. 2. So what is interesting though is this is 3200 megahertz RAM. I do not think Threadripper is capable of running this or any RAM in an 8x8 configuration at 3200 megahertz. Threadripper first gen, I should say. This is the first generation Threadripper processor. I think, I could be wrong, I'm just going off of memory, but I want to say that 2933 is the cap for native RAM speed support on this processor. If I did get it to run at 3200 megahertz, that would be considered overclocked. And from what I read, it seems like it's pretty hit or miss on whether or not you can get this CPU on this motherboard to overclock RAM consistently, especially in an 8x8 configuration. It's just hard. It's a lot of DIMMs. It's a lot of variability. There's so many RAM chips spread out across so many modules that, you know, to get all of them to sync up at a higher clock than what your memory controller in this chip in the CPU is really spec'd out for, you know, it's kind of a lottery. A lot of this stuff is a lottery when it comes to overclocking. That's why the company Silicon Lottery exists. It is definitely a lottery. All right, last DIMM going in. All right, so good Lord, it's heavier. That's a lot heavier. That is a beefy system. So we got 64 gigabyte of RAM and a Ryzen Threadripper 1920X on our ASRock X399 Gaming Fatality, spelled with a 1, Professional Series, spelled with a 1, motherboard. I'm sure everybody's like, why in the hell did you pay money for a motherboard that you seem to just hate the name of? Well, it was cheap. That's the bottom line. It was cheap. Let me know if there's anybody out there who's watching, what's the video quality like? What's the sound quality like? YouTube's, you know, giving me the nasty gram message about, you know, please check the video resolution, etc., etc., etc. Does it look bad? Does it sound bad? What have I got here? Thank you, Jam. It is okay. Are you getting 1080p? Because it says you're getting something that's not 1080p. Okay. So before we go on, I want to talk about this cooler for a second. Looking around. This is the most highly recommended Threadripper air cooler next to the Noctua Threadripper version of their Noctua NH15 or 14, whichever one you're looking at. And I just wanted to, this is just one weird, what is it? 480p, but sound is good. All right. Okay. I just want to talk about one thing real fast that comes with these higher end coolers, right? They all send you some super long, ridiculous screwdriver. Now, I have long been a favorite, like a fan. God, I can't talk. Long been a fan of the one Noctua sends because it's just as simple as you could possibly make it. It's a Phillips head screwdriver bar with no handle or anything, and it's just bent over, right? So this, like, you can get this into almost any crook and crevice as long as you've got the straight shot length to get it in there. And then this bar gives you the it gives you the torque to like, you know, actually bite into a Phillips head and torque it down or loosen it from a pretty considerable distance, and yet without a lot of overhead of a handle getting in the way. Now, I will say, Be Quiet does send a very nice little screwdriver with their Dark Rock Pro series. This is like, you pay money for a screwdriver like this to be included in a kit of tools, right? It's very long. It's got a magnetic tip, which this does not have. The Noctua tool is not magnetic at all. So that can be a hindrance when you've got a screw dangling off the end of this thing and you're trying to like thread the needle and get it way down in the case or something. Having it be magnetic is pretty nice. So this will probably be my new favorite installation tool, but I think this is still the best for removal because of the L handle here, giving you the ability to get a little bit more torque than if you're trying to squeeze and spin these little this is a nice handle. It's got good knurling on it and whatnot, but still you just can't always get like all of the twisting force you need on these little handles like this, and this definitely allows you to torque multiply considerably more. Okay, just gonna get that out of the way. Overall, this cooler is really slick looking. It did get a little beat in shipping, which I'm kind of sad about, but kind of I don't really care, because this is mine, and I'm not really building for the looks, especially this this system. When I'm done with Quadtoberfest, and I actually do turn this into my video editing rig, this is going to go into a case that has no side panel, or no transparent side panel. It's all closed in. There's no visibility of the system once it's in there. It's a quiet case from Fractal. So I forget what it's the Fractal design. I don't remember which. It's a big daddy case. Anyway, yeah, just my thoughts about the Be Quiet cooler is nice. Their tool that comes with is nice. The fans do look to be of really good quality, and they're one thing. I use a lot of cheap fans in the computers I build to resell. Roseville and a company called Up Here. I use their fans a lot because they're cheap and they provide decent airflow. But one thing I've always noticed about them is the fan frames are floppy, and this is rigid. This is a stiff fan frame. It's got good stiff thick blades on it, and everything about those cheaper fans is thinner and flimsier, and definitely, if you were you shouldn't be doing this, but if you were working on your computer while it's running, or if you have a test bench and you've got one of those cheap fans and you're messing around while it's running and something hits those fan blades, 9 times out of 10 those fans are toast. Those super cheap fans from like Up Here and Roseville, and there's another one. I can't remember right off the top of my head the other company that makes those super cheap fans. But these fans from Be Quiet are very quality. These are the Silent Wings fans, 120 millimeter fan, really nice. So let's get this. Okay, one last thing I want to talk about before I slap this cooler on. This is gonna be this is the maiden run. I give no Fs. I sometimes just take ridiculous chances. So I've watched a few videos about this product online from some pretty reputable YouTubers who've been around a long time. They did some testing with it. One guy's down in Australia, Tech Yes City. Sometimes I make fun of his channel because he's just like, I bought a system with an i9 900K for $14, and kind of deals. The deals he gets don't always, I don't know. I mean, maybe he's just got it like that, but sometimes it seems a little too good to be true. But he did do a video, and he seemed like he was putting, forth a pretty good effort, unless he just, made it all up, which is hard to know, about the different thermal grease, different thermal compounds to put on top of CPUs. And evidently a bunch of people down there in Australia, they're considerably closer to China than I am on the east coast of the United States. AliExpress is a very popular place to buy things in Australia. It's cheap. It's direct shipment from China. It doesn't take very long to get there. And so evidently a lot of folks in Australia that are into PCs use this GD900 thermal grease. High performance thermal grease even, they claim. So I bought some on AliExpress, or maybe it's through eBay actually. I don't actually like to shop on AliExpress. Just feel a little uneasy. I know it's widely recognized as I guess it's a good, safe online retailer. Quote unquote safe. None of them are safe. Your personal information is always at risk if you're buying things online. It doesn't matter if it's Amazon or AliExpress. You're taking a risk as soon as you buy something online. And the more you know. So I bought this off of eBay, and then promptly forgot that I ever ordered it. It showed up in the mail about a month and a half later, and I was like, what is this? And I opened it up, and this giant EpiPen looking thing of thermal grease. And I was like, holy crap, that's a lot of thermal grease for one, and it's in this crazy hypodermic needle plunger thing. I'm going to slap it on my Threadripper. First thing, no testing. I've never put this on a CPU in my life. I've never opened a Threadripper in my life. If you were earlier on the stream, you know that's true. So why would I lie to you about this thermal grease? So, yeah, I'm going to try to put this Be Quiet Dark Rock Pro TR4. I'm sorry, these are, so one of those is a 135 millimeter fan. This one is. This is 135 millimeter. This is 120 millimeter on the front. And then, let's see. I got some widgets and who's-its and whatnot in here for this thing. Let's see what we got going on. Let's clear some space for the fan cooler. So this is all in an attempt to get ready for Quadtoberfest. If you just joined, this is going to be the CPU test bench for all of my dual GPU video cards, because it's got all of the PCIe slots, it's got all of the PCIe lanes. It's just a freaking beast. So we're gonna go with it. I got no idea what I'm looking like. I'm like a monkey humping a football over here. All right, what's going on here? You'd think I'd never put a freaking CPU cooler on. I tell you, you switch platforms, you switch sockets, you get presented with a socket you've never worked with before. It can make you look like a freaking rook pretty quick. What Jam say? I'm going to try to watch this on a Pentium 2S. Good luck with that. My man there. Jam's from my Discord channel. He hangs out a lot. We talk about AGP video cards pretty often. Pentium, was that Pentium 2S or 3S? I don't know. My vision's going. Let me get closer to the screen here. Pentium 3. Pentium 3S. Good luck with your Pentium 3. I hope it works. Okay. This is all in German. Here we go. There's English. Assembly of the cooler mounting frame. Place the TR4 spacer nuts onto the socket bolts. I got spacer nuts. I got socket bolts. All right. 1, 2. Get in there. Hopefully this thing actually fits. That'll be embarrassing if the cooler doesn't fit. Then we will go water block. We'll go water blocking. And then, all right, place the TR4 spacer nuts onto the socket bolts protruding through the front side and affix the long TR4 mounting bracket here. Where'd the fancy screwdriver just go? Oh, there we go. It's hiding behind this massive cooler. All right, and we got a short frame. And it goes on the short frame end. This is a really nice screwdriver. This is a really quality product. I have never used a Be Quiet cooler before. So I just kind of took it on faith that that Amazon reviews and Tom's Hardware and a few other YouTube channels that reviewed Threadripper air coolers knew what they were talking about, and you know, so far they did. I use a lot of cheap stuff. I'm not even trying to sugarcoat it, right? And I don't try to sell anybody computers that I build, and try to tell them that they are high-end machines. I sell them as budget machines and I am very upfront about the specs and what their performance capabilities are. The point of all that rant was I know what cheap things feel like, and I can tell you that this does not feel cheap. You can just when you're screwing things into the bracket and things like snug down firmly and there's no bend or budge or anything like that. That's really assuring. I've used some pretty cheap CPU coolers before, and I've had the mounting brackets just bend as I'm mounting the CPU cooler. Just bend over, the spring-form metal that's supposed to hold tension so that the cooler stays mounted to the CPU and conducts heat out of it and keeps it from burning itself into oblivion. Just bends, just basically disintegrates in your hand. So far, nothing I've touched about this particular cooler feels like it would do that. All right, we're going to take the, we're breaking the seal. We're peeling off the peel for the cooler plate. There's a pretty big cooler plate there. Let's see if I can get this in the frame. So like, you guys see that? So that's the CPU IHS, and that's the cooler plate. Put them pretty close to side by side there, so you guys can see that they match up pretty good. That's a pretty decent coverage area for this very large Threadripper IHS. It's a big boy. There's a lot of heat coming off of this thing. So let's slather it down in high performance thermal grease GD 900. So basically I'm just going to work, oh boy, get a... So, as high quality as the Be Quiet Dark Rock Pro 4 is, the first thing to come out of the thermal grease hypodermic needle plunger was like the watery stuff that comes out of the mustard bottle if you don't shake it up. So that's not cool. That I definitely don't enjoy that. Being my first impression of high performance thermal grease GD900. GD. Literally. Alright. And it's kind of dirty. I'm just going to clean this a little bit. I don't know. Somebody give me a sanity check here. Should I use this stuff on my brand new build, or should I just use the thermal grease that comes with the Dark Rock Pro? Jam, what do you think? Are you a betting man? Anybody? GD900 high performance thermal grease, or whatever comes with the Dark Rock Pro? I imagine, you know, they're both going to be fine. Really, they're both going to be fine. That's the bottom line. Is they're both going to work. I got the GD900 open. See, thermal paste on. I can't read that. Thermal paste on the DRP first. DRP4. I'm not sure what that means. All right, we're going for it. All of the Uzi thermal paste on the TR4. So some of this looks pretty sketch. It's very liquidy and not very viscous. So that makes me worry that it maybe doesn't have, I probably should have splooged some of this out onto this alcohol wipe first. Looks good now. Like the first few drops of it that came out were like really runny, which usually means that it doesn't have a whole lot of the actual thermal compound that you want to absorb and transmit the heat up through the heat sink. So let's look. That's actually pretty good contact. I just need to get it all the way across the IHS. Okay, so that's pretty good. I've got way too much on here though, so I'm going to wipe some off. Way too much. And too much is better than not enough, usually. I say that like it's a universal truth. It's pretty close to being a universal truth. You can definitely get too much and make it bad. But typically, too much, you have to put way, way too much to where it like just runs down all over into places where it definitely shouldn't be. And most thermal pastes are non-conductive anyway, so they don't hurt your components if they get on something they weren't originally intended to be on. Okay. Better need another alcohol wipe. Got a little messy. GD900, just a little too heavy-handed with the high performance GD900 thermal paste. That's okay. We'll get it cleaned up here. Get it put back together. So, how's that Pentium 3 holding up there, Jam? You able to watch the stream on it? Okay. I don't know if you guys are noticing, but I'm using a packet of silica gel to wipe up. So these, it's really hard to find isopropyl alcohol wipes right now. So the ones that I found are like 70% isopropyl alcohol, which means that they leave a 30% residue behind that is water. That's not really what you want on your IHS or your cold plate. So yeah. All right, so I took these two little caps off the top of the Be Quiet fan or cooler assembly here, and there's a bar that goes across. Okay, just get these nuts, some of these screws started here. Get it. Doesn't seem like it's quite tight enough. Cross thread that thing. Okay. I think that's in there. Yep. Okay, and then we're gonna, let's see, this fan wire comes out there, and then we're going to, let's see, fasten the 120mm fan using the fan clips onto the front side of the cooler, slide the 130mm between the two heat sinks and fasten with the fan clips. Yes, true story. So I want this pointing that way and that way. Slide this out the other end here. 135mm fan going in. So these are the clips that you're going to use. Are they all the same size? I'm not sure why there are. I guess it's if you want to put a third 120mm fan on the back side of this, you can. So, and I'm also just looking for RAM clearance right now, and it's it's whisker close, but we are clear of all of the RAM modules, which is nice. All right, so me slide that in there and that in there, and okay, that one's in, and then I'm going to reposition this a little bit higher on the fin stack if I can. Get it back out of there. Okay, alright, so I got that one going into the second from the top fin on the fin stack, and then this one's gonna go in here and here. And we're in. Okay. Get these two bad boys on here. Little caps. Purely cosmetic look here. Just making sure that I've got this all set up the way it's supposed to be. It does appear that it is. So you got two fan PWM 4-pin fans coming out of here. So there's a little dongle splitter. Merge those two guys together and get them on the CPU fan header, which is just to the front corner of the motherboard. All right, so I got dark rock. I got my air cooler attached to my Behemoth CPU, ensconced next to my Behemoth kit of RAM. This is shaping up to look like a thing. All right. What Jam say? Dark Rock Pro 4. Oh, you want me to put it on the Pro 4 first and then set it down in there? It's too runny, I think. I think this would have dripped off of there and made a huge mess. So, or did you want me to? Oh, you wanted me to use this first as a maybe like as a test. I'd be more than happy to take that off and remount it, and we could do some thermal testing with included Dark Rock Pro 4 TR4 thermal paste and compare it to the YouTube Southeast Asia Challenger. But I just made the judgment call to go with the GD9 million or whatever it's called. This is a heavy son of a gun. Holy crap. That has some mass. I built some pretty, strong, capable rigs in my time. This thing is, yeah, that is a thing. That is for sure a thing. All right, so, and it's gonna, unforeseen consequence of this being an absolute just heavy behemoth of a rig is my test bench is decidedly lightweight. It is, I'm not sure what this material is. It's plastic. It's plastic. That's what it is. Yeah. So let me make sure. I'm gonna have to do some quick tightening of all of its constituent screws. So it's basically just some laser cut pieces of, I don't know what you call this kind of material. It's just big, maybe 1/4 inch plastic sheets. Let's see, all my motherboard standoffs are tight. Yes, okay. Power supply is in there. Now, I'm only using a 750 watt power supply for this initial portion because I'm only really going to be powering the CPU. This is just a sanity check to make sure that my CPU works, and that that I can get a stable overclock on the Dark Rock Pro 4. So we are gonna oh my god, this thing is like 1,000,000 pounds. It's 1,000,000 pounds. So typically, most lightweight, lighter weight system builds, and especially if I'm using like a stock AMD cooler, you can just pick the whole motherboard and ram up by the cooler, and it's wet. And the sockets, the socket is firmly attached to the motherboard. The cooler is very firmly attached to the back plate of the motherboard, especially some of the AMD stock coolers screw into the back plate as opposed to just clip into the back plate. I definitely would not pick this up by this cooler. And that's not anything against the cooler at all. That is just, I think part of it is the 8x8 RAM kit. Whew, boy, that's heavy in and of itself. The CPU is massive compared to basically any other CPU other than other Threadripper CPUs. Or I guess if you had like what is Intel's server CPU? I know AMD's are called Epic. If you had like a server CPU, like a Xeon, like a full Xeon server CPU, yeah, that might be as big and weighty. That is what this kind of feels like. It feels like I have like a little mini server rig over here. So, yeah, let's get this plugged in with some power. We got 24 pin power. So yeah, 750 watt EVGA power supply for the initial tests. I will swap this over to a 1000 watt platinum power supply. And I was just actually looking at a video today about dual R9 295X2s, which I have, and that system sucked down 1,350 watts of power running the Valley benchmark from Unigen. I don't think my 1,000 watt is going to do that, so I may actually need to go procure an additional or a new power supply for all of this madness. So CPU power. So this has an additional 4-pin connector for CPU power. I'm not sure where my 4-pin power connector is at the moment for that, and that's a problem. Let's see if I can find it's a Windows 10 blank disk. This should work. Yeah, so I may need to find a power supply that can suit my needs, or I could rig it. I could do some hillbilly engineering over here and see about getting a second power supply to run one of the GPUs on its own. That can be done. It's not elegant looking at all. That would be a lot of stuff on my table. Right now, it's already kind of cluttered, and I don't even have, there's a bunch of stuff on here I can clean off that I don't need, obviously. But eventually this is going to be covered in in water cooling kit, right? There's going to be a pump, a reservoir. I might just use a pump res combo. I think I have one around. And radiators and fans to cool the massive amount of heat that's going to be coming off of 4 GPUs running benchmarks and games. Okay. SATA power, 24-pin power, 8-pin power. I need some kind of graphics card that preferably doesn't. I don't even know. This is XFX. What is this? Yeah, it's a RX 570. I'm just going to use. I know this is going to look like the most ridiculous setup ever in the world. I'm going to put this super tiny Radeon R7 250. This is my does it work GPU, because the graphics for this thing are super lightweight, or the drivers for this thing are super lightweight and innocuous. They almost never cause any kind of system issue. It just slots in. There's no additional power that's needed to run it. It just runs off of the 75 watt. I mean, it doesn't even pull. It pulls like 19 watts at full chat running Unigine Heaven. So yeah, it's funny. Like, I'm pretty sure from the angle that this is this is being shot, like the GPU just completely disappears behind the cooler stack, which is pretty funny. Pretty funny indeed. And the other thing I like about this GPU right there, no power connector, and it's got an HDMI cable. So it's got HDMI and it's got DVI and it's got VGA. So it pretty much spans all of the spectrum of what I would need a graphics card to ever hook up to when it comes to, like, is the system alive? Can I get a display on the system? If that's the question, that's the card I pull out. I know it's cheap and old, and I mean, it was never a good graphics card. Like, that's basically what I'm trying to say. But it was always a pretty good value, which is also what I'm trying to say. So we're just creeping up on 21. We are at 21 degrees Celsius. Ooh, we've got blinking, flashing lights. That should auto detect. Oh, kind of scared. 3. Oh, is there a power restart? Power button. 3, 2, 1, contact. Things are spinning up. And now we wait. Does it post? Is my RAM kit good? Is the CPU good? Is the motherboard good? So many. Well, we're getting postcodes here. C2. It's scrolling through. It's clearing them. It's churning through. Hey, hey, first time go. First time go. Is it going to boot into Windows? We got a post on the first. I'm telling you, like, that's pretty rare for me. Usually there's at least one reboot off of the first go around. So that's pretty nice. I'm pretty happy about that. That bodes well. That gives me a little boost of confidence. Because I'll tell you, when I was looking at the goopy GD900 coming out of the giant syringe scary thing, I was getting a little bit worried. Maybe I had made a terrible mistake. But, I don't know. It's going okay so far. Yeah, it looks like it didn't load correctly. Restart my PC, blah, blah, blah. That's a Windows thing. That's not this. This is fine. Windows, this disk may not be good. We'll see. It's been on a different system before, so it may be looking for, it might be looking for an i7-9900X or 990X or whatever that hexacore Intel CPU I did a review on like last year. Yeah. So, this is a problem with this installation of Windows. It's got nothing to do, I don't think, with this computer. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this installation of Windows is for this installation of Windows is for my memory is fading. This installation of Windows is for non-UEFI BIOS. This is for a BIOS, not a UEFI. And it's a different. This is MBR versus Master Boot Record versus GUID partition. So that may be why this is not booting, because this is for my old computers. Yeah, so that's fun. You know what we might just do? We might go crazy, guys. We might go crazy. I'm thinking about going crazy. Now this is going to make the stream super long and boring, so if you guys want to like leave and come back while I do this or whatever, I'm going to be here for a hot minute. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a fresh install of Windows into this on a Samsung 960 Evo M.2 drive, because I can and because I want to, I think. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this drive in. I need to find the screw pack from the motherboard. Actually, I have a crap ton of M.2 screws laying around. There's one. Look, there's one now. So, how many, what do you got? 2 concurrent viewers, 3 playbacks. So I'm assuming Jam's still on the line. If you're watching this, post something in the chat. Y'all want to see my face? That is a giant screwdriver. It's not going to go with that screw. Sure. I fix it. Still too. It's too big. If you like my channel, you probably like a channel that is much better than mine, and also run by a silly old curmudgeon. Jay's 2 Cents. Pretty funny channel. He definitely does not take himself very seriously. And neither do I, and I don't take him very seriously either. But he is good, fun to watch, and it's all about computers. But he does produce actually good content as well, when he puts his mind to it. Okay, so I'm not gonna need a SATA cable. That's one less cable I'm gonna have on my table. And there goes the Amazon Basics keyboard. Hopefully that's not broken, because that would also be bad. I think I have a spare keyboard thankfully. Man, dog hair. Good Lord. Huskies, dog hair. It's on everything you own. It's on everything you eat. Husky dog hair. It's crazy. So my friend Jason Crawford says I should let the cat in. I don't know if she's still out here. Yep, she's up there on her cat tree, staring at me, judging me, basically. So I know one of these flash drives has Windows 10 on it, Windows 10's installation media on it. So we're gonna get up close and personal to the streaming. Oh, I can't do that. Let's see what we got going on here. Gonna need to rearrange some things. So this is all seat of the pants right now. Everything that's happening right now is a completely impulse decision to install an M.2 drive that I have owned for probably over 2 years, and never actually put into a system. Cat's still staring at me, just judging cat. So yeah, so this is definitely not what I thought I was going to be doing when I started the stream. And can I get, there we go. All right, I just got to look up and see. I got to open these thumb drives to see what is in them. So this one, hey, first time go. That is indeed my Windows installation media. So now I'm going to stop jittering the frame around. Sorry about that. If you're motion sensitive, I apologize. I know that was probably not pleasant to watch. And let's just pop that in there. And hopefully, you know, Samsung NVMEs are pretty good about being bootable. I think typically, so we're in the closest slot to the CPU socket for the M.2s. So typically that's also kosher with having your boot drive be there. So we're just going to, we got our mouse and keyboard hooked up. We're going to try and we're going to turn the power supply on, and we're going to try to install Windows Media. Okay, so we're down to one concurrent viewer. Sure what happened there. I saw, there we go. All right, so yeah, we're gonna do this next. Install. So this will be an unactivated copy for now. I don't have a product key. I always do Pro for these. I have no idea why. No, I do know why. Pro seems to be a little bit slicker, have a little bit more resource, less. A little bit less resource intensive when you use Pro. Can be. Not. Depends on your use case. It's not foolproof. So once we get Windows in here, I'm going to reboot the system. We'll go into the BIOS, see what we're looking like for idle temps. I like a lot of people don't know this. When you look at your BIOS idle temps, when you look at your sensor page in BIOS, it's showing you what your CPU is doing with full voltage. Typically, most motherboard manufacturers, you're at full voltage in BIOS. So that gives you a really good handle on what your idle temps, which are like, it's kind of a weird thing to phrase, what your maximum idle temps would be. So like if you're below 40 degrees in BIOS looking at your sensor page, that's pretty good usually for almost any CPU. If you're below 30, that's like, man, I mean, you're just a few degrees off of ambient at full voltage, so that's good. All right. This is going to take a few minutes. Please, I'm going to go reboot my libation, and you should go do whatever you want to, honestly. You're not being detained. And we'll be back once this bad boy unless it crashes on Windows installation. That wasn't good. That's not a good sign, folks. What do we got going on? Kind of hard to diagnose that right off the break. Just a failed Windows installation. Might, I don't know. I'm going to let it sit for a minute. I'm going to go reboot my beverage. And then we'll come back. We'll reconvene. that didn't sort itself out, so we're going to do a hard shutdown here. Give it a couple minutes to figure itself out. Maybe I do need to go into BIOS and just make sure that... oh! Everybody stop talking about her. Here she comes. Where'd you go, cat? There you are. Are you going to help build this thing? If you're in here, it might work. Because it's probably scared of you and the demon that lives inside of you. So, I don't want to start the precedent of letting her up on the workbench. Or any of the shelving behind me. But she is going to be underfoot. She's already trying to get the wires, which is always a fun game that we play in here. But I will see if she will get up on my lap, usually. Come on. But not if I ask her to. She will not get on my lap if I'm like, hey, I want you to get on my lap. No, that's not how this works. I get on your lap when you tell me, when I decide I'm going to get on your lap. And not a minute beforehand. My workspace is starting to get a little bit crazy. Starting to make me a little bit crazy. So let's see if we can get... Stop. No, do not get my headphones. Oh my God. All of the wires. She loves them. See if we can get into BIOS and see what's going on here. Okay. Quad channel memory modules, yes. All of the memory. Threadripper 1920X 12 core. Let's go to monitor. Let's see. Oh yeah, that's not good. 69.5 degrees Celsius at idle. Oh yeah, something's really wrong here. Okay, so we figured out what's wrong. So now we're going to shut this down. So we definitely have a mount issue with the cooler. I'm not sure what the problem is or why it's not making sufficient contact with the heatsink. Yeah, that's a problem. It definitely is not. Cat, you literally just want to play with everything that is in here and not get on my lap, which would preclude you from playing with most of the things in here. Alright, you want to leave? Fine. So what that means is, you know, tear it all apart and put it back together, which I'm going to assume that most people don't want to watch me do on a live stream. So yeah, this was mostly a giant failure. So 69 degrees at idle, even under full voltage in the in BIOS is way too hot for this CPU. So I got to figure out why the Be Quiet Dark Rock Pro 4 TR4 fin stack is not making sufficient contact with my with the IHS for the Threadripper and mitigate that. So I may still have too much thermal paste on there. I'm I'm not sure. I may just have a bad mount. I may have it. I'm going to go through the literature one more time and make sure that I have it mounted properly. If I can't get it to run at a proper temperature, I may bite the bullet and break out the water block for the CPU, and we'll just have to rig up the entire kit and caboodle when it comes to so that this entire table would then be taken up with a giant custom loop. That was already the plan, was to have this entire table just laid out with a big custom loop with I think I have 360 mil radiators, crap ton of fans. So I was going to have a 360 radiator on the CPU and have each GPU have its own 360. And it's just going to be a flexible tube daisy chain. And then take one of the 360s. Eventually, we're going to take one of the 360s and put both the GPUs on that 360, but then dunk that 360 in a Coleman cooler full of ice water with a little recirc pump that's pumping water through the fins of the radiator. I think that's going to be the way to get good stable overclocks on these things, get the temperatures down nice and frosty. Having just this on for the limited amount of time that it was on brought the temperature of this room up 1 degree, though. That was like not even 10 minutes, I would say. I would say this thing was on for less than 10 minutes and it raised the temperature of this room 1 degree. So definitely going to need to... it's getting pretty cool outside. I got a little window up there. I might crack that window open, get some fresh air in here. I am in a basement. This is nearly subterranean. I have one tiny little window up here on this wall that's just above ground level. And it's starting to cool off here on the East Coast. So we'll see. I got some work to do to get Quadtoberfest up and running. I think this is actually a pretty decent start. I know all of my components work in the main. It's just getting them to work well together and get the temperatures down on the CPU. That's an easy fix. I can get that sorted out. Probably just going to be clean off the thermal paste, apply known better thermal paste than high performance thermal grease GD900, GD9 million. And then see if I get an improvement. I may even try just a much thinner coat of GD900. I think I just slathered it on a little too thick also. So yeah, I got a couple housekeeping things to do. But I know that the system boots up and posts first time, which is good. Wants to start installing Windows, which is good. So we're on the right track. Might do another live stream tomorrow if I get this thing up and running, but it's getting late. Got some stuff around the house I got to get done. I hope you guys are having an awesome weekend. Let me know. Leave some comments when this gets posted I call it in memoriam on YouTube. Leave some comments. What do you think I should do? Is this the right track to go for Quadfire Palooza? Quadtoberfest is a Threadripper with a metric butt ton of PCIe lanes. What I should be looking to do. I mean, I could do Quadfire with 4 cards even on this bad boy, right? Or I could do triple SLI on this pretty easily. It's got 4 16x PCIe Gen 3 lanes or Gen 3 slots on it. So I think it's probably worth a shot, But I have some other motherboards that are quad fire rated. You know, should I break out the an X58? Do it on that. I've got an X79 and an X99. I think the X99 board is not quad fire rated, but the X79 motherboard is quad fire rated. Yeah, I got skills. So leave some comments. Discord guys, get busy in the Discords. Let me know. Which way do you think I should go? Should I keep trucking down Threadripper Alley, or switch tack and go with an older but probably more, I don't know if there's any platform that's quad fire friendly, but maybe has been used in the past for quad fire. The video I saw of the X295 X2s, two of them in quad fire, was on a it wasn't X58. It was an X58 platform. So yeah. All right. Well, on that terrible disappointment, I'm Mike. This is my channel, Solid State Alchemy. If this kind of silly, rambling content interests you, please like and subscribe. You know, I don't make any money doing this. This is purely just this is just how I spend a Saturday night in my basement, in the underbelly of the YouTube algorithm, just slogging away, trying to be silly with computers, mostly with computers. If you would be interested in my thoughts on audio componentry and audio file type stuff, I can do that too. I got a bunch of headphones. I used to actually write reviews for Massdrop. Well, when they were Massdrop, before they're just drop in their audio section there. So I got a lot of review samples that I've never put a video about audio stuff on YouTube before, but I could. I got some stuff. Let me know. Like and subscribe. I'm out. And I'm ending the stream.